back, YouTube. This is your boy Bliss right here. Thank you all so much. We just hit 180 subscribers. Sorry about that though. Pop my back a little bit. But today we would be doing an analysis breakdown of the Last of Us video of the virus explained in more detail, because a lot of people I've seen in my comments were lost about what the virus does and triggers, and why Ellie didn't get affected and why she wasn't bothered by this. So here I have a video right here as well to for the source, and we're gonna watch two parts. We won't watch this whole video, just the parts about the virus been explained and breakdown. Obviously I'm gonna explain in more detail on why it happened, why a lot of why she didn't get affected and why everybody else is getting affected. So without further ado, let's watch. Got a movie going on right here though.
Months later, Ellie and Dina have seemingly settled down with a house, and Dina has given birth to a baby boy named JJ. All seems well, and Ellie is herding some sheep into their barn when a shovel simply falls to the ground and triggers PTSD in Ellie regarding how she witnessed Joel's death. She comes round and is comforted by Dina. More time passes and Ellie returns home after hunting rabbits. They have a visitor. It's Tommy. He's half blind and can't walk very well after he was shot in the head by Abby. He tells Ellie that they have a lead on Abby, who seems to be in Santa Barbara. Dina intervenes and tells him they aren't about that anymore. Tommy's hurt by this, as his brother's killer is still out there, and he simply can't go himself. He guilt trips Ellie, saying that she promised to make Abby pay. He leaves, but his words obviously worked, as Ellie is severely struggling with PTSD and feels that killing Abby will bring her some sort of closure. Dina tries to stop her, but Ellie leaves for Santa Barbara anyway. While Ellie is en route to Santa Barbara, Abby and Lev arrive at 2425 Constance. A tip leads them to an underground basement bunker with a radio inside. The radio...
I just want to say one thing, is that the fact that when you get there to her, but she's like skin and bones. I don't know what they did. I know they torture her from what we understand, like from reading the notes and stuff. Like they didn't feed her, they didn't give her no water, and they just strung her up and she just shrunk. That's how you know she was taking nothing but protein and steroids for her to be that buff.
Some type of drugs. It all seems lost until a voice comes through. The Fireflies are alive and still active. They test Abby to see if she is indeed an ex-Firefly, and as she passes, they inform Abby and Lev that if they can get to Catalina Island, they can join them. Ecstatic, they begin to head to Owen's sailboat, but are attacked and captured by a local group called the Rattlers. They are taken as slaves for a couple of months. Ellie arrives and finds their sailboat along with a clue on a notepad, 2425 Constance. She sets out to find it, but on her way there, she gets caught in a trap and gets horrifically wounded. After a while, the same Rattlers who took Abby and Lev turn up. She manages to get free and kills both of the men, but not before they tell her where Abby is. She tracks Abby down, and after a few months of being malnourished, she is strung up to a pillar on the beach as a punishment for trying to escape.
No food,
Ellie cuts
no
Abby
water,
down,
so
who then cuts down Lev, and Abby leads Ellie to some boats so they can all escape. Ellie and Abby fight. Ellie, despite losing 2 fingers in the fight, has the upper hand and is about to succeed in killing Abby when she has a moral epiphany of Joel and stops and lets her go. Distraught, Ellie sits there as Abby sails away. Eventually, Ellie returns back home but finds Dina and JJ gone. And
this is funny though, because how the heck she cleared out this entire house by herself when she had a baby? And it's like, why? How?
The house empty. Ellie leaves the house and walks away, ending the story for now. Now that is a long story, but now let's start to unpack what happened.
So, to clarify, a lot of people have been asking, why did Joel die? And the odds of him... First of all, I just want to point out, I hate the way they did it. The odds of Abby bumping into Joel and they just go off to the sunset together, whatever, and she kills him. It's just like, that's like me winning $500 billion at the pinball game. Like if I went to a gas station and bought a lottery ticket for $900 billion, right? What are the odds of me winning that money? 0. Well, actually, it's like a 1% chance, and that's low. That's so low. And for them to kill Joel like that, oh man. Y'all already know how I feel about that. I already said, well, I'm already watching Last of Us TV show on HBO Max, so y'all already know how my review is so far. It's been good. But once they get to that part with Abby and Joel, I'm done. But yeah, Joel was never a good guy. He was a terrible person. One could say he was even a scumbag of a human being. Because before when the virus had hit, him and Tommy done some dark, scary things, so to speak. They done things that the game didn't tell us about, which they probably going to clarify in the show what they done, because Joel is doing some illegal stuff in the show right now. Spoiler alert. But yeah, man. If they were going to kill him, they should have killed him another way. But that way was not the right way. Not the right way. Because if that's going to happen like that, hell, I need to be winning money every goddamn month. Like, literally. All right, here we are.
What caused this outbreak? Well, in The Last of Us, unlike other zombie-esque horror titles, it wasn't started through a malicious corporation, nor was it a man-made virus. It was purely a result of nature, a mutated strain of an otherwise harmless, to humans at least, virus. Well, when I say virus, I really mean infection. The infection which ravaged the Earth in The Last of Us is called the Cordyceps brain infection, or CBI for short. It's a fungal infection. Cordyceps fungus is actually real and is dubbed the zombie.
Yeah, this infection is actually real, guys. It's real. And I'm not making this up. I have a video of that too. We're going to break that video down as well. It's a separate video from this, but it's real. This is actually what it looks like. It looks like from what y'all looking, this is this picture y'all seeing right here. This is a spider. This is a tarantula. I don't know what kind of tarantula it is, but it's just deep in the jungle. But cordyceps brain infection, otherwise known as CBI, has infected this spider, and look what it did to this spider. This spider is dead. It's gone, dead. Like just dead into the ground. It only affects insects. Thank God. Thank God. Right? This thing is real. You can do research on it. I actually did a research paper on it, and I got an A too. But it's real. It's very, very real. It can't affect humans right now, like the scientist dude says. And it can affect us unless it evolves. Like it adapt, like let's say if Earth climate change and the heat just skyrocketed straight through the roof, then yeah.
Fungus. It exists deep in the jungle, and it primarily infects creatures and literally turns them into zombies. It's very malicious and has the strength to wipe out entire species. The spores from the fungus land on the skin and embed themselves into the muscle of the creature. Apparently these spores control the creature and make it move to an alternate location, which is a perfect environment for fungi reproduction. It's parasitic in its nature, so after the creature is dead, it feeds off the creature, reproducing fungus in order to release more spores and therefore infect more creatures. It can't affect humans, as the human body is much more adept at fighting off infection. So if it can't affect human beings, how did it all start? Mutation.
Evolution.
The strain of this infection evolved somehow before the events of The Last of Us. It became stronger, more...
Well, he doesn't, in this part of the video, he doesn't tell you, like, why it started affecting humans. But the reason why it started affecting humans is that the Earth climate changed. So that for the viruses, the spore to survive, it evolved. You know, if something is being threatened by the ecosystem of the planet itself, it would evolve to adapt to that environment. We see it every day when we see animals, like we see tigers and lions can climb trees if they're trying to hunt their prey. Or we see dogs paddle to learn how to swim when they jump in the water. You would think they would drown. They know how to swim. They call dog pedal. But the same way with humans, with us. We find a way to survive. We make guns, tanks, and bombs to fight off wars and other people that try to threaten our lives. This thing did the same thing, except for we was threatening it, and it was like, you know what? I'm about to kill all y'all. Literally what it did. And it's real, which is crazy, because this is very, very scary. Because if you live on the outsides of the state of the countries or Africa or wherever you may live, if it's in a big city global area, you're going to die by this thing. There's no escape. It's just like, man, what did I just wake up into? I just woke up into like a zombie, a real life zombie infection thing that's killing everybody. I don't know if you would actually turn into a clicker though, but hey, that'll be terrifying.
Contagious. This specific strain was called Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. At the start of The Last of Us, Sarah, Joel's daughter, finds a newspaper stating that a mysterious illness is breaking out, and it seems the culprit was contaminated crops imported from South America. An insect must have been infected with the cordyceps and landed on the crops, which contaminated the other crops, creating a mutation and starting the downfall of civilization. So after being infected by the cordyceps, the infection...
So, now that we got to this part, let's talk about Ellie. Ellie is immune to the cordyceps brain infection. The reason why is because Ellie has this thing, I don't even think they clarify the name of it, or why she didn't turn, or what's the name of it, but apparently that is because if you get infected by it, it attacks your brain. This is how you turn, and it also attacks your body, your cells in your body. It's like any other virus. And unlike COVID, you can't wear a mask to protect yourself from this unless you wear one of them actual gas masks that people wear from tear gases, bombs, and stuff like that. So Ellie has this little thing in her brain. They never clarified the name of it, but they said that it has the power to fight off the spore. You can still get infected by it. It's like an antibiotic almost, like a vaccine. She basically has the vaccine in her brain. And it's only a 1% chance of a human being born with this to fight the infection out. And it's very, very low. The odds of somebody being born with this is low. It's so low, it's ridiculous. You would die before whoever conceived the child that has this immunity. Ellie was born with this immunity. It was in her brain to fight it off. So like when she, just like the spore evolved, Ellie somehow evolved inside of her mama's stomach before, like, I want to say because she was born in this world with the infection already happening. So somehow Ellie must have evolved inside of her mama's womb to fight off the infection. She was the key to human survival. And, George said, you know what? Scrap all that. I'm not letting y'all kill her. I'm taking this chick girl with me. Now, granted, this is probably why Joel dies, because Joel killed like 7 billion lives. From, they could have, cut it out of Ellie's head, made a vaccine, a cure for everybody, and boom. But in the process, Ellie was going to die. Yeah, she was going to die from this. The surgery was going to kill her because it's in her brain. Like, it's not on top of her brain. It's underneath the scalpel part, like the cord that's connected to your skull type of brain. Like, if they go in there and cut it out, she was going to die. Even in real life, she would have died. No matter what technology we had, because they have to literally pull her brain out of her head and then cut it out. There's no safer way to do that. It's impossible without damage some type of nervous system, because they got to cut her entire skull open, rip it open, and go in like this and just pull it out. So yeah, she was gonna die, which is why Joe was like, nah, that's not good. And yeah, he ended the world when he did that.
It would normally take around 2 to 3 days to kill a human. The body literally dies from the inside as the parasite takes over. A fungus attacks the brain and starts manipulating the behavior of the host. Someone can be infected through a bite, through an infected corpse, or through airborne spores. Full body deterioration when exposed to spores only takes a few minutes. There are 4 main stages of infection, and we see...
And spores are also more dangerous because, like, they're dangerous than getting bit, because the spores are airborne, they're in the air, and you can't see them. So, like, for example, let's say if I'm walking past a building, right? There could be a clicker or infected inside that building. I'm nowhere near it, and it died somewhere in the corner in there. And then it will release them spores. Like, they'll crawl up in the corner and die and release these spores. These spores would then go into the air, and I could just be walking right past the building, and the spore would just enter my body, and I'd just be like, GG's, I'm dead. You won't even know. You literally won't even know. You won't even know that it entered your body until after you start changing.
See these 4 stages on a federal leaflet. Stage 1 infected are called runners. These are the people who have recently become infected. Although they are the weakest of the 4 stages, they still possess high speed of movement and have a tendency to attack people as part of a horde. They still seem to possess some part of their consciousness, as sometimes they will walk somewhere and then tend to hunch over and moan or cry. This is down to the cordyceps infection not fully taking hold yet. They seem to be semi-aware of what they are doing, but are powerless to stop it. They also moan in pain due to the cordyceps growing in their body. Their appearance seems to show them as suffering hair loss, bloodshot eyes, and being covered in lesions. Stage 2 infected are called stalkers. The time frame of this stage of infection is anywhere from 2 weeks to a year. These infections...
Well, stalkers are so scared because they're so quiet, you can't even hear them. They literally be behind you the entire time. You literally cannot hear them whatsoever.
As suggested by the name, tend to hide themselves and camouflage themselves by merging with cordyceps fungus on walls and then breaking free and ambushing survivors. Their appearance shows them with fungal growth around their eyes and upper body. Stage 3 infected are called clickers. Formed and mutated from 1 year after initial infection, you will hear them before you see them.
Those things are so scary.
A unique clicking sound emanates
super
from
strong
them
too.
Still, this has a purpose though. They have developed a form of echolocation which can detect the slightest movement, hence why when you get too close to one, they'll run towards you flailing their arms aimlessly. This is because they are completely blind due to the cordyceps fungus growing over their eyes. They can even at some point be seen scratching at it, trying to get it out of the way, which might suggest that some vestigial human memory remains. As for their appearance, their skull seems to have split in two in order to accommodate the facial cordyceps growth. And finally, the last of the 4 stages is the bloater. At this point, the fungal growth has expanded so much that it's essentially started to produce an armor type of plating. This growth ends up causing the host to bloat significantly. They possess the ability to throw spore bombs by tearing fungus off of their own bodies. It does need to be noted though, that infected only progress to these 4 different stages under very specific conditions. For example, you see a lot more runners outdoors than clickers. Stalkers and clickers and bloaters tend to be situated indoors rather than outdoors, though at some point you may see some outside due to them wandering. Enclosed, dark and damp spaces seem to be the best. At the end of the life cycle, or when the fungal growth becomes too much for the host to handle, the host tends to just go to a corner and just die, emitting spores so it can infect a new host. This is what's known as a fruiting body, hence the need for gas masks in spore-filled areas. Now, there are 2 more variants of infected which are more rare. The first of the 2 is the shambler. These are infected who have been infected for several years and normally reside in damp areas with water nearby. They are similar to bloaters, except they don't throw spore bombs, they just expel acid spore clouds from their bodies, burning the skin of their prey. They also
basically that thing is a demon. You run into this in real life. If this happens in real life, take your gun. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Death. And the second is what's known as the Rat King. This is a special infected, encountered only by Abby in the hospital in Seattle. Formed and mutated over the course of 20 years.
A lot of people are confused about the Rat King, and I'm gonna tell you the story behind the Rat King, because he's not gonna tell you. He's just gonna say, and he actually got it wrong at this part, because the Rat King, from what the research I did, the Rat King is a creature fused of the people who were first infected. Not only were they the first people who got infected, they were also locked in a room. And he gonna say it was 4 people or 3, but that's actually incorrect. From the research I did, there were actually 10 people. The Rat King is a fusion of 10 people. If you count the faces, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it's some more on the back of it, because it has a lot of arms and hands everywhere. So it's more than just 4 people. It's like 10 people smashed together in one room, and they turned into something like this. And yeah, that happened. This happened over 10 years of these people being stuck in a room together, and they turned into this.
Since the outbreak began, it contains 3 infected rolled into one. A clicker, a stalker, and a bloater. Attacking it and dealing enough damage will trigger a defense mechanism in which one of the infected types will detach itself from the Rat King and will attack its prey alongside what remains of the Rat King. The Rat King is colossal and possesses a ridiculous amount of strength, literally tearing off limbs if you get too close.
Yeah, so the Rat King is like very deadly. I think I've died to him multiple times in the game now I think about it. I think I got killed. I take that back. I killed Abby that many times because I didn't like her. I think a lot of people did. A lot of people killed her. But now that we're done with that part, time to move to the next video. and more details. And yeah, got another video.
Fungi and slime molds race to decompose dead matter on the forest floor. Many spread by releasing spores, up to 30,000 a second.
And see, you can't see this. This is literally in the oxygen you're breathing in. This is worse than COVID. This would turn you into a zombie. Think about that.
If just one of these spores lands in the right place and takes root, it can colonize a whole new area.
And kill a whole new area. They don't say that part.
But not all fungi feed on the dead. Days ago, a spore landed on this ant.
Now she's acting
strange. A network of roots has infiltrated her muscles. Her body has been taken over by cordyceps, a parasitic fungus. It floods her brain with chemicals, drugging her, compelling her to head where conditions are perfect. Just the right amount of light, just the right amount of humidity for the parasite growing inside. It forces her to clamp down in a death bite, and cordyceps reveals its gruesome nature.
Bro, it's right out of her head. Where the brain is at. Y'all ever wonder why they stopped doing nuclear bomb tests? It's because of stuff like this. Because they like, oh, well, if we change the Earth climate, it gets too hot, this thing will evolve. Yeah. Like, don't you think that's funny?
After 3 weeks of growth, cordyceps can release its own spores, infecting more ants, releasing more spores, infecting more ants, releasing more spores, infecting more ants, infecting more ants, more ants.
And it wiped out the entire ant colony.
Cordyceps can wipe out entire ant colonies. But more than just ants are at risk.
It can affect moths, butterflies, spiders, crickets, any type of insect that you can think of, beetles.
There are over 600 species of cordyceps spread across the world. Most are found in jungles, where they prey on a whole host of victims.
And kill them. This will make for some good bug spray though. So, now that we got that out of the way, and you guys have seen that, hopefully that helps some of you all know how dangerous this virus is, or this plague. It's very scary, it's very dangerous. Some people, as far as go and say that, like, treat the planet the way you treat your, well, I ain't gonna say that because some people don't even treat themselves better than they treat the planet. So, man, but it's so scary because I've been thinking about this all week, and especially since I uploaded and did a short about it. And I was thinking, like, man, if this thing actually came to be, the people that would die from this would be the people that live in big city areas. You know, if you live in the city, you're screwed because there's nowhere for you to go. And it's super, super terrifying, bro. Like, I don't know how to tell y'all, like if this happened to us, like legitimately, we are actually screwed. Like, there's nothing that we can do about this. Like, legitimately. And it hurts me because I'm like, man, this hits us. We're dead. Can't no cure be made for this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's super terrifying, dude. It's very scary. It's horrific. One can even say it might even give you nightmares. I honestly don't know. Like, this could wipe out all of humanity. There's no way to fight it. There's nothing we can do. The only thing I can't say it because of the way YouTube is, but that is your only option. Is you have to off yourself. And I don't even think YouTube will be able to stop the. I mean, they're going to be affected. Everybody who works in YouTube office or Google office, wherever they work, are going to get infected because they won't even know. Like I said, the spores are in the air. You're breathing it in. So somebody in your job can. I mean, obviously they have symptoms before you turn. Like you can't control your nervous system or your body. Like, let's say if this arm is working fine, this arm is not. This arm is moving on its own. Like if my muscles start moving on their own on this side, they're infected. Then those are the symptoms. But man, yeah, it's kind of scary, man. Y'all stay safe out there, man. I'm telling you, Earth is the planet itself is scary in itself. And here we are trying to go to space. Why would you want to travel in space and we haven't even fully developed everything on our own damn planet? Does that make sense to you guys? I just want to know, because some people just don't think like, let's go to space, let's find another virus that we can't make a cure for and just die. That doesn't make any type of sense. But anyways, guys, post comments down below. Make sure you all like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, I hope you guys enjoy my Last of Us virus explain breakdown for you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It really helps me out a lot. And subscribe, because we just hit 180 views. Thank you all so much, and I'm out of here. Let's check this joint on out, y'all.